Good evening. A humanitarian disaster is unfolding in Venezuela as we go to air tonight, with powerful back-to-back earthquakes shattering the South American country. The official death toll stands at 32, but anywhere between 10 and 100,000 people could be dead.
The earthquake struck the Caribbean coast, more than 150 kilometres from the capital, Caracas. Let's have a look at a live shot of the city where rescuers are searching for survivors but are more likely to be overwhelmed by bodies. The quakes among the strongest to hit the country in more than a century.
First the disbelief, then the panic and chaos. A woman and child managed to dodge falling debris, but nowhere is safe. At the airport, parts of the ceiling collapsed, travellers engulfed in dust. Look at what the earthquake has done, this man says. It's destroyed.
Acabado totalmente.
Here, a baseball game is halted as spectators rush the field. And at another stadium, dazed and frightened, people emerge from their homes, many injured, some carrying pets to safety.
It's the heaviest quake I have felt in Venezuela.
The first tremor struck at 6 p.m. local time, magnitude 7.2. Seconds later, another, more powerful one, 7.5. Tsunami alerts were issued, later lifted. But the earthquakes have been enough to destroy so much. Entire streets levelled, home after home collapsing. This resident races downstairs, floor after floor, inspecting the damage. The lower they go, the worse it gets. Somehow this building is still standing. Roads cracked and cratered, and out on the water, two fishermen watched the destruction unfold all around them. A state of emergency now declared. It was like a horror movie, this woman says.
Several walls collapsed. We're expecting aftershocks. I hope not, but we need to be prepared.
The mission now, find and free the trapped, the injured, those still alive. Rescuers finding some in the rubble of ruined apartment blocks, loved ones waiting, fearing the worst, knowing this may just be the beginning.
Well, if the predictions are tragically true, this will count as one of the deadliest earthquakes in history.
Foreign editor Hugh Whitfield joins us now. And Hugh, Venezuela faces multiple challenges tonight.
Michael, Angie, it was a public holiday in Venezuela, so most people were at home in the early evening when the quake struck. Many living in poorly built apartment blocks that have crumbled. Despite its oil wealth, this is one of the most corrupt countries on the planet, so rescue, recovery and rebuild will be difficult. All of this just 6 months after President Nicolas Maduro was taken by US forces and imprisoned. America now among the nations pledging support. And incredibly, this wasn't the only damaging earthquake today. A 6.9 magnitude quake struck northern Japan. At least 6 people were injured. And a 5.6 hit rural California, the biggest there since 1940. A violent realignment of tectonic plates across the world. But all the focus right now is on Venezuela and the race to find life among the rubble. Michael, Angie.
Thank you, Hugh. 6 weeks of vocal objection from far and wide wasn't enough to stop the budget's controversial tax changes. The government's laws passing Parliament today as Pauline Hanson's Fire the Liar campaign rolled into Canberra.
Running down the major parties in the polls.
Oh, look, how can you miss that?
Welcoming her One Nation roadshow to Parliament.
Stop Labor, fire the liar. And that's what we're saying, fire the liar.
As inside the Senate backs the tax after a series of votes echoing in the House.
The bell is tolling for all those opposite.
The Greens supporting Labor, passing the negative gearing and capital gains tax increases and $250 income tax cuts and $1,000 instant tax deductions.
Our legislation has just passed the Senate.
After closing another loophole exposed by ACT Senator David Pocock that would have stripped grandfathering protections from investment properties held by couples and hit them with the higher tax regime if they divorce or one partner dies.
Ensuring that this legislation doesn't disadvantage predominantly women.
The Coalition wanted to vote for the tax cuts and against the tax hikes, but the government refused to split its so-called wedgeslation, forcing the opposition to say no to the lot.
Why does this Prime Minister, the leader of this dishonest government, want to pull up the ladder on hard-working Australians?
As the bill passed its final hurdle.
Order. A win for workers. It's a win for first home buyers. It's a win for future generations.
Future generations like these students visiting Parliament today.
So who wants to be a politician? Me. Yeah. Good on you. Yeah? It's not for everyone.
And that is the truth. The government was desperate to get this bill through the Parliament this week because it's been taking an absolute pounding in the budget debate. The Albanese government is going through its most painful period since the Voice referendum, starting with the Bondi massacre and reaching its peak with the backflips, about terms and claims of lying over these budget bills. It's determined now to put all that in the rear-view mirror and move on quickly.
All right, Mark Riley there in Canberra, thank you. Karl Stefanovic's 9 lives appear to have run out. His often troubled time at the Today Show all but over.
He's now expected to be sacked by his bosses at Channel 9 after a controversial podcast and 20 years without a single ratings win.
It was a killer question that's come back to bite.
Keir Starmer is a wanker.
And that was just the start. In a 55-minute podcast, Channel 9's Breakfast Family Man gave an open mic to British right-winger Tommy Robinson. He's anti-Muslim, anti-establishment, anti-immigration.
They're bringing in criminals, rapists, murderers.
But this is literally happening in Australia with the One Nation Party.
They talked crime, controversy, cancel culture.
God, I love you.
But by last night, Nine had heard enough. Online activists, the Mad Witches, which claimed credit for the sacking of Kyle Sandilands, announced they were now coming for Karl.
The highest paid person on the network, and yet at the same time you're doing a podcast which is very kind of brazenly right-leaning. You can't have it both ways.
From Stefanovic's former Today co-host.
Nine gave him the podcast. So if you're trying to work out how all of this happened, look in the mirror.
And from his newfound friend.
I think they're bloody stupid to do it.
Well, it's been absolutely devastating for many of the backpackers.
From cub reporter to stints on primetime news shows, but it was 20 years at breakfast which gave Stefanovic his meal ticket, earning more than $2 million a year.